Market update here on the 12th. So another update in the market. It's getting redundant now, saying this every day, but we've now rallied from 421.7 all the way up here to 438.5. We did have a slight pullback, but obviously today up a little bit more. So what is this? I'm starting to think that we actually finished the C wave here, and because we didn't make it all the way to the 1.61 fib here. So 1.61 fib is right in that daily supply zone here at 446. We didn't make it all the way there, but we did complete 5 waves. Pretty, you can see. And I don't even like this to call this a really an impulsive wave, but you have to because of how far this extended. It has to be that. But here's where I think it ended. I think it ended actually right there. That's 5 waves. You have 1, 2, 3, pull back 4, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's 2 options here, but I think that this one, actually extended 5th wave doesn't even make sense, because then we'd be going way higher than the 1.61 fib. So what I think is the most likely scenario is we actually are making, we could potentially make a expanded flat again. So this would end up being A, and then we have some kind of expanded flat here. I don't know. It's pretty explosive though, but if it's an expanded flat, it actually goes to right around the same area. Go to like 441.85 or 441.0. So that is a possibility. If we get an expanded flat, that would make sense too, because then we could come down here to the 1.23 fib, maybe even come down here to 436. So that's one possibility. That would mean that we're going to go higher though, so it would end up being something like that. And then it would be looking at this whole thing as something like that. So that is the first possibility I see. Second possibility is we go lower tomorrow. And if that happens, because again, this is pretty obvious up here. I mean, everyone sees that. So if we go lower tomorrow, then I would just expect a move to a maximum of 432, somewhere around that area. So that would just be ABC lower, a simple ABC move lower, and then we would go higher after that. So it's looking like this is going to end up being another corrective move, whether it goes higher tomorrow or it goes lower. I think we're going to fill this gap either way. It just might come later if we come lower, but again, potential expanded flat here. I don't think that this move, I think this move is probably finished. It looks like 5 waves to me. Like, I don't see how this can extend. If it were to extend, then we'd be going way higher. We'd be going up here to like probably 4,500. So I think that those 2 possibilities are the most likely going into tomorrow. And on the daily, you can see the supply zone pretty clearly. I've shown it before in the video. Right here is the 1.61 fib, clear daily supply zone. And below that on the daily, I don't see very many good demand zones, but on the 2-hour time frame, this is where I'd look. And you can see the 1.61 fib goes right into that area at 432. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I see on SPX. Not really anything else to say about it other than this is probably a corrective move. This broke the high here. The only other possibility slim possibility would be if this was some kind of expanded flat here. It'd be another expanded flat. So it would be there's a slim possibility. It would still probably be ABC, but it could be a slim possibility. It could be this as well. So basically higher or lower tomorrow. We'll see how it works out. CPI in the morning, and expect 432 or expect up here at 440, around that area. Those are the two places I'm looking at. We got demand down here, we got supply up here. And then from there we can see what happens. On QQQ, it's crazy how this demand zone is holding. Look at that. It barely broke outside of it for a second. Came back down. Still in daily supply. But on QQQ, I think it's a very good chance it breaks through it. Because you can see right here, we had a big move lower, but we made another high. So that automatically turns this into a corrective move. So if this is a corrective move, it still can come down to this area right here. Maybe come down here to 366. But even if it goes down to 366, it's likely going higher now because we got a corrective move here. So again, it's going to end up being, if it comes down here, we're probably going to go higher now. It's pretty crazy how quickly it can change. But corrective move, so that means same thing for SPX. They're probably going to try to just blow up all the bears, and it looks like this is going to end up being a B wave. So I don't think this is a 5-wave move. If it is a 5-wave move, then we'll know, because whenever this move's finished, let's say it pulls back here and then goes higher and makes an impulse move here. When it corrects, if we get a corrective move, then you can turn this into a 5-wave move. Right now, I still think it's a ABC move. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. It should be, can it break through daily supply? And again, we have this gap up here at 376. So, I mean, everything is pointing towards higher. It's pretty crazy. Like, I was really bearish down here, and now I have had to like change my whole opinion on this. It's gonna go higher. So 15 minutes been pretty reliable for where we're gonna top out too. And you can see here, our 15-minute is right up around that level. We'd be at the very top of that range, and then we're likely gonna fall back down to the lower end at some point. So if we come down here and we come up here all the way to 376. Then you're still looking at a move that takes us down to like 3,400, and then potentially this gap fill. So I still don't think this move is done to the downside, but that could change again if we get an impulse move up here. Let's say we come up here to 376, fill this gap right here, and then get a corrective move down. We need an impulse move after that. So we'll see what happens, but I'm expecting higher on QQQ regardless. If it comes down here, it's still going to go higher. Tesla. So I had a question about Tesla in the comments. I think Tesla can potentially go to 280 now. It's pretty crazy, but we are in daily supply. But here's the way I have this drawn up now. So we had A wave, B wave, and then this ended up being basically ABC the whole way up here. I have it marked as W, X, and then basically, again, A. Pullback today was B. And you can see here, if you just draw a parallel line, it takes us to 280. And so I think today was probably the B wave. And we set up towards the end of the day like almost perfectly for a spike. So we'll see if we get it in Tesla. 1, 2, potentially, if there's a good reaction to CPI, this could explode up to 280. So watch out for 280 on Tesla. And then zooming out here, if we go to 280, that's just going to take us to the top here again. And this was an impulse move. So that means that this whole move is probably going to end up being a flat now. That's kind of how I look at it. There is a gap fill down here at, is there a gap fill? Maybe there's not a gap fill there. Anyway, there's a demand zone right here around 220 to 235. If we go to 280, we could see a normal flat. There is a gap down here at 216. But I am leaning bullish here on Tesla. Yeah, it looks like it potentially can go to 280. Invalidation on this. If it goes below the low today, then that might invalidate the whole move. Because right now, even, like I showed you, the length of W, and you put it right here, equals 280. And then also, if you take the length of A, it also equals like 280. So if we break below this, then I would be less certain about the move. But right now, that's what it looks like to me. I don't think, and we had this move all set up. Where was it at? It was right here on October 6th. And it looked pretty good. It could have potentially been a 5-way move. Then this dropped below it. So that turned it into some kind of corrective move. And this looks like the most likely. This A wave took 12 days. We're about 15 days into this, and it might end by the end of the week. So you might be looking at 18 days. And then we might get some kind of crazy move down in the end of October, going into early November, from 280 all the way down here to 235. It's coming. I don't know when it's going to hit, but it's coming. I'm just a little bit early, I think. Apple. So Apple is chugging along. Again, I talked about this in the video yesterday. It looks to me like some kind of expanded flat. Maybe 182 tomorrow. Fill this gap at 181. And then it should be ready to sell off. This is a big supply zone right here. I don't think it gets above the supply zone. Microsoft. Finish at 332. In line with what I was talking about in the video yesterday. This can potentially go. But again, remember I said that this is an expanded flat potentially as well, similar to SPY. It took a longer took longer to get into the move. So we have A, B, and we're working on C. And this is probably a 5-way move now. So I got rid of this ABC now. It's got to be a 5-way move. So 1, 2, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, and then this is likely the 4th wave right here. This is the 3rd wave, and then we have right here, same as Tesla, 1, 2, sitting here in a 3rd wave. I'd be surprised if it doesn't come up here to 338 and fill this gap. So Microsoft looking good as well, and once it gets up here to 338, I'm going to consider that the overall B wave. and then we should get a C wave down. I don't know how far the C wave will go, but we should get one down. So 338, top was 365. This might go all the way down here to 282, 280. So something's coming here. I'll tell you that. The only way that this does not happen, again, it's the same thing I talked about in QQQ. Since we're getting an impulse move here, this would have to have a corrective move down. So if this ends up doing something like this, then I would completely change. We have to have some kind of huge news. Probably, I don't know what it would be, but it's going to have to be something like this. So that's Microsoft. NVDA, like I said in the video yesterday, it's probably going to 480, maybe just 470. There's two supply zones. Very interesting. It came very close to hitting the supply zone right here, but another one up here at 484 makes the most sense. That would be about a 3% gain, something like that. So maybe a 3% gain tomorrow up here to 484, and then that will be a very good short. Because not only did we complete an ABC move, a little bit higher, maybe 480, but then it'd be ready to make a C wave down here to 395. The dollar invalidated a 5-wave extended move. It went below 105.67, and at this point, the way that this started out though, this, let me see real quick. I think that this could retrace a little bit more, but maybe not. This has potential, since it's a corrective move though, it has potential to go higher again when we fall in the market. I just don't know if it's going to bounce first and then come down lower beforehand. Because if CPI is tomorrow and we finish out this move, then this should be going lower tomorrow as well. Let's look at supply zones and demand zones down here. We're at 105.61. There's one right here, I see. That's probably the most obvious one. And there's one right here as well. We already hit that, went through it. What if the dollar goes all the way down to 104.80? That is a supply zone, or demand zone. It's a very small one that I see, but very good possibility right here. This one already hit that area. So what if we come down here and double bottom at 104.80 and then pop back up when the market falls? This looks like 5 waves. So I think it is finished right here, but this could also be a very quick ABC move lower and then go higher. We'll see what happens. It also could end up being an expanded flat as well. It could end up being, no, it can't be actually, because we're going a C wave down. So right now, corrective, that means we're probably going to go a little bit higher, but we'll see. All right, VIX. So my thoughts on the VIX. We broke through this demand zone right here, and this is pretty obvious to me. If we go higher, we're probably going all the way down here to 1490. There is a daily demand zone right here at 1516, and as you can see right here, let's look at the 1.61 fib of the A wave. It takes us right to 1490. So that gives us about $1.20 to lose. Zooming in here, you can also look at this as ABC. It already started basically, and the length of takes us right down to 1490 as well. So hopefully I gave enough evidence that the most likely move tomorrow is higher on SPX, on QQQ. QQQ I'd probably be targeting 376. On SPX I'm looking for 445, maybe 441. So that is it for now. I think the market is going to go lower, but it's probably going to be start next week. We're probably going to go higher the rest of the week. Maybe Friday it pulls back a little bit, but tomorrow expect more upside in Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, NVDA, all of them. And expect the VIX to go to 1490. And the dollar is kind of unknown, but it could go a little bit lower. That's it. That's the thesis for tomorrow. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe if you're not already. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.